Black family. Welcome to another episode. This is a Black History Month episode, and I'll be reading to you from a book by Dr. Claude Anderson, 101 Questions You Never Thought to Ask. I'm not starting at the beginning, but this one was very interesting to me. Build around Black consumers' needs and spending patterns. Blacks should build businesses around basic needs of their people, especially in essential areas of water, food, and medicine, healthcare, and energy. These consumer essentials ought to be readily available in every Black community in normal times, but especially during hard times or civil disasters. Further, Black businesses ought to produce and sell consumer items that Blacks spend a disproportionate amount of their disposable income in purchasing. Numerous marketing firms identify the product categories in which Blacks dominate as consumers, for instance, music, cosmetics, fad clothing, hair products, and certain foods. When the society provides you with only lemons, go into the lemonade business. In other words, convert negative group characteristics or conditions into positive business opportunities. Now, we as Black people, we are professional lemonade makers. That's my opinion. But anyway, it further states, here are two examples of business opportunities based on Black domination. Although Black Americans are only 12.5% of the national population, they dominate. The national prison population today are 51%, just as they were 150 years ago. Various levels of government spend billions of dollars annually to purchase materials, food, equipment, and supplies for prisons, such as sheets, blankets, bedding, shoes, and uniforms. The average construction cost for each jail cell is over $8,000 plus over $24,000 a year in administrative costs for prisoners. Prison systems spend more than $3 billion annually procuring shaving, lotion, soap, and other toiletries for Black prisoners. Additional billions are spent on contracts to private corporations to manage prisons and to provide health care. Prison work and recreation equipment also represent major business opportunities. Business opportunities built around prisons demonstrate a key principle, a criteria for Black business development: dominate in business wherever the group dominates in population and consumer spending patterns. Another example is presented by the marijuana. Yes, I said the marijuana. Blacks are more likely than other groups to be arrested for use and sale of marijuana. Raising marijuana for recreational and medicinal purposes will become a major revenue-producing industry. Now, this book was written before it became a law, and as you know, in Michigan, it is a law. Blacks should be preparing to build vertical business opportunities in this field where they dominate as consumers. Potential Black entrepreneurs must be careful in selecting business opportunities, but should first apply the PowerNomics principle that Dr. Claude Anderson teaches about in identifying group competitive advantages, consumer patterns, and where possible build the business where there is physical Black business district. Because of the recent lockdown, there has been an elevation on entrepreneurs and people just digging into themselves and realizing their entrepreneurial gifts and other hidden talents that might bring them monetary gain. The 71st question in this book was, what criteria should Black entrepreneurs use to identify the best business opportunity? One of the most common questions that are asked by aspiring entrepreneur is what businesses to go into. The answer is simple. Willie the actor, Sutton, the infamous national black robber, supplied the answer when in the 1950s he was asked why he robbed banks. Sutton answered, because that is where the money is. So like Willie Sutton, blacks should go into business where the most accessible money is and where they have a distinct competitive advantage. Black Americans have an annual disposable income of over 1 trillion, which is a nation within a nation, and makes them one of the richest nations on earth. Ironically, because they do not aggregate those dollars to build group strength, approximately 98% of their total income is spent in non-black owned businesses. The biggest and most accessible pot of money that a black business owner should have a good chance to capture is the money held in the hands of black consumers. Blacks could dramatically increase the group benefit of their consumer dollars if black merchants and black consumers practice group-based economics using the advantage of home court leverage and the cultural buying patterns of their own people. If black Americans practice economic nationalism and protected their aggregated resources, it wouldn't be so easy for non-black business to capture black consumer dollars and weaken the group socially and economically. To provide and protect the environment for black businesses, the group should model the historical pattern of ethnic immigrants and build businesses enclaves. Immigrants historically built business enclaves inside of their residential communities, primarily because they felt safer doing business with their own people. That's something we as black people have to get back into. We have to feel safe. And I want to say to the people that that are supplying the consumer with product, we know that we have had to pay more for our merchandise in the past. I once had a conversation with an elder in our church, Elder Roy Hutchins. He was the first black hair carrier in the city of Flint. And he told me how much he had to pay. And that back then he was, he had to ship his hair in. But the other Korean hair stores, they could travel over there and bring it back, And so we have always been at a disadvantageous point when it comes to getting the merchandise. But now there's all types of avenues to cut the costs. Now we need to really start trying to do business with our own people in order to circulate our dollars to our own people, And if it was a form of protection, because it really is, institutional racism by design will establish black neighborhoods and establish captive black consumer markets. Without black-owned business in those neighborhoods, the annual disposable black consumer dollars are up for grabs for whoever wants them. Blacks, as a group, must support black entrepreneurship by building black businesses and black business districts in which they can physically aggregate and practice group-based economics. The reality is that because blacks don't have communities, it's not always easy to support black businesses. Most black shoppers are unwilling to crisscross all over town in search of the black business. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to get out there and hunt people down. But when they do, don't get crazy with your prices. Try to be reasonable and appreciative and be kind in knowing that they could stop by their local Walmart or Dollar General or wherever, but they choose to do business with you. So pride yourself on supplying with quality product, but at the same time, don't be so inflated that they can't afford it. And at the same time, a crafter like myself Don't take the time that we spent creating this beautiful piece or composition for granted. However, when they aggregate it into black business districts or enclave, blacks who may live in scattered locations can demonstrate their broad sense of community by supporting the black businesses in those districts or enclaves. The businesses that are the most important to locate in the district are the ones that meet general consumer needs and are based on cultural characteristics. The criteria that black entrepreneurs should use to identify their best business opportunities are to be structured on two key PowerNomics elements. One, build business based upon the group's competitive advantages. And two, dominate in business where your group dominates in population and consumer spending patterns. So I asked a few of my friends, how do you feel about Dr. Claude Anderson's PowerNomics? Have you ever read the book? Are you familiar with it? How do you feel about circulating the black dollar and keeping the wealth in our hands, And this is what Michelle had to say.
Hi, I don't know anything about that program, but yes, I'm a true believer of buying black. We have to keep each other uplifted and support each other, and those are my views.
And I agree. And I just like to add, Michelle, her daughter has a boutique on Clyde Road. It's called Legacy, and they have some nice items in there, and they're not inflated. They're reasonable, and so let's support. When we get ready to buy clothes, it's just a few feet away from probably where you're normally used to going. So support your sister. Lonnie, how you feel about it?
I agree 100%. Agree 100%.
Thank you, Brother Lonnie. And so I asked someone else. I asked Martin how he felt about it. And this is what he said.
I am all for that. However, it needs to be upfront and legit. We don't need all these hookup people that don't want to pay full price and because they know you're supposed to get things for free. But I am all for black empowerment. I think the main reason we are in the pinch we are in is because our dollars do not stay in our own communities. If that were even half the case, we would still have black-owned stores in our communities as opposed to the Arab and the Korean and so on and so on. But yes, I am all for that.
Thank you, Martin. Now, this was a response from that was sent in by text. I don't mind buying black, but a lot of black brothers and sisters are higher than the Arab and the white man. Y'all hear that? So don't overinflate your prices. We understand that you can't probably get those deals like other suppliers, but I think the market is opening up to that. Unfortunately, everything is coming from one place for the most part, but do be reasonable with your prices, Do good business. Let's keep that money in our community. It's time to start rebuilding our own stuff. It's time to mind our own black business. Happy Black History Month. On the black inside, yeah. On the black inside. Slap me some skin on the black inside.
I feel black like Marcus Garvey. Red, black, and green all day. I feel black like Bob Marley. Singing Liberate Zimbabwe. I'm black like Steve Biko. Screaming out all power to the people. They say all men were created equal. But we were born black. Your life is on the steamboat. They criminalize my skin. Make me feel bad. 'Cause my lips ain't big.
Thanks for tuning in to my old archives.
I'm black like Harriet. Swing low, sweet chariot.
This is from Journey in the Soul Path. I'm still Aoife Kimmy, your power infant, soul healer, and fearless transformation guide. Peace.
Black man, stay strong. Black woman, hold on. We shall prevail. Through rough of time. Black man, stay strong. Black woman, hold on. See my blackness, they can't write me off. When you're born black, it's like they nail you to a cross. Born as a slave, I'm just trying to reach north. Only to be treated by these racist ass cards. Huh? My history was hidden in the schools. Graduated college, now we educators, man, they got us all confused. People say it's hatred when they hear me drop jewels. What? The black woman was hurt, she's a mother. Eve of the earth, never cursed, we discovered. But if we act like fans, treat a brother like a brother. We can save self, start building for each other. Up, we can make the ghetto into a palace for us. All we need is love, commitment, healing, and trust. Is that asking too much? And if not, let's link. One thing, one people, one change, one link. We shall prevail through the rapids of time. Black man, stay strong. Black woman, hold on. We shall prevail through the rapids of time. Black man, stay strong.